final topic before we let Rob Paulson get back to being a mega huge celebrity star.
Oh, bless your heart, man.
And of course, doing Talking Tunes. Download it today.
Yes, and may I also, if you don't mind, a shameless plug. What we're up here doing, I know, forgive me, but what we're up here doing is an evening of Animaniacs music at Sketchfest tomorrow afternoon, I should say. But for those of you who would like to go to robpaulsonlive.com, or you can follow me at YakoPinky, which is my Twitter handle. But there's a great promo. We are now taking the Animaniacs music live to orchestras around North America. So go to robpaulsonlive.com and you can look at the great promo we did with the Colorado Symphony a few months back. And we're now booking shows with different symphonies around the country. So, if you're interested.
And it's a fantastic show. You go there,
really,
you perform the songs from
all
Animaniacs.
the songs, United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, and all those songs. Look at you. And all the songs, Randy Rogel wrote them. And it's myself, Tress McNeil, who was Dot, and Yakko Warner, Jess Harnell. And we all do it live with a big screen. So the cartoons are, and then the orchestras play the music and we perform them live. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's so cool.
Take a look at it and tell your local orchestras. Thank you for letting me do that plug. Now,
anytime, please. That's what you're here for. We're here to get you these plugs. Your plugging here ties into my question.
Oh, good.
Or my topic, I assume. I went down to LA a few weeks ago. Shot this show that'll be up on YouTube's eventually called Nerd Court. It's a Gary Whitta production. I'm allowed to talk about it because he talked about it. So there. Now it's all fine. I get in the car at the airport. The PA picks me up. We're driving there, and she's like, I do all this stuff. I'm not familiar with your body of work. What do you do? I'm like, I did these shows. I do this. I'm an internet celebrity. That's the easiest way to say it. I'm an internet personality, internet celebrity.
We're internet superstars.
We weren't at the time, though. We didn't have the 100,000 fans yet.
My God, how many S's in superstars? I love
as many as you want.
Yes.
So I say I'm an internet personality, and she goes, "Oh, okay." And then, so what does that look like in 5 years?
Ouch.
And I was like, "What?"
You're like, why would you start with that comment?
What an odd
we had
comment.
been talking. We had been talking.
You get in the car. What do you do? What the fuck are you going to be in 5 years? What are you doing with your life?
But it was a great point of like when we're
yeah.
talking about what we do, and like at the time when I was hosting, and like Kind of Funny hadn't started yet.
Right.
There was all these different things things in motion. So it's just a host of like, I want to know for you in particular how what you're talking about. It was 28. You got the G.I. Joe role.
Yeah.
Did you think when you were doing that was now life and that's what you're going to do?
No. At that time, as I said earlier, I came out. The ostensible reason I came out was to be a singer and an actor. I was a singer first who became an actor, did a lot of stage work. So I presumed that I would do, I just like to work, man. And I still have. And you know what? It's about passion. I love to work. I've been rich and I've been poor, and rich is better, but I don't make money unless I'm passionate about what I do. The money takes care of itself, and I've tried putting the money first and it doesn't happen. But anyway, I just wanted to work. I never really thought that it would be my total ball of wax career-wise until I started really, again, working with all these great actors who were not limited by their sort of visage.
Physical appearance,
yeah. And I thought, man, this is cool. And you can not only do great stuff, but then when I started to get a chance to sing in all these shows, that's when it really started to take off. Because a lot of folks, you come to find out a lot of folks can do character voices or dialects, but they can't always sing in the character voices or their dialects. And that really is the most fun for me. Doing this Animaniacs live stuff, it is an incredible labor of love, and the audience just eats it up. And when you hear these songs played, with these incredible lyrics that Randy writes, and it's a great big universe, and we're really, really puny. We're just tiny little specks about the size of Mickey Rooney. You might think that you're essential. Try inconsequential. It's a big universe, and you're not. And it's just, but it's fantastic, and it never stops, So I didn't know that would be the way it's gone. It's worked out great because now it's starting to come full circle. Yeah. Now I'm back on stage and loving it.
And so this is my next question then. I mean, for us, like, we've launched Kind of Funny.
Yeah.
What's 5 years look like?
And by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is a big deal for you guys.
Yeah,
man.
Well, you quit our jobs.
Really cool.
Left the sure thing to
hey,
go
man,
be crazy.
You know why? Because they got skin in the game.
Yeah.
That's what these guys did. These guys are a perfect living example of what Colin was talking about. And trust me, there's plenty of politics involved in show business, right? Internet or traditional media. These guys have skin in the game. These guys are rugged individualists trying to make it. I so appreciate that. That's so great. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we've seen our lives change, right? As we're doing YouTube, and then now we'll do Patreon. Well, now this is going really well. We'll do this. It's all about that evolution, I guess. And this, I think, for me, that's why it's hard to say in 5 years what everything looks like, because it changes so much.
So fast.
But like when you started doing your podcast, right? When you started doing the Animaniacs Live, I mean, were those hard sells for you? Like, did you feel like, well, I'm a voice actor, this is what I do?
No, well, the podcast, again, they talk about passion. I mean, you guys, nobody knows when you start to take this step whether you're going to be able to pay the rent or not. You take your chances. And again, that's what I also love about this. There are no guarantees. When people say, well, this isn't fair, that's fair. You know what? No shit. Life isn't fair. So to me, to try to make it fair, either by government edict or by some other, it's sort of anathema to the way people are, right? It in my view, it sort of corrupts drive and passion when you try to make, that doesn't mean I don't want people to survive. I want everybody to struggle. I mean, to survive and to do well based on their own struggles or whatever. Some people are born with a silver spoon. That's life. I don't hate somebody because they're richer than I am. Anyway. So the point is that I had a kind of an epiphany about 5 years ago. I had a real slow period in my career. Yeah. But again, everything's relative, and I learned a really valuable lesson. This was in my early 50s. I was, found myself bitching about having a slow month, and I would, actors would say, "Cry me a fucking river."
I've had a slow 5 years, yeah.
And I thought, wow, you know what? You're right. You got if it's slow for you and you don't like the way it's going, hey, dude, I'm all about personal responsibility. I don't want anybody to give it to me. So I felt sorry for myself for 37 seconds and said, you better fix it. If you don't like the way it's going, this ain't about anybody helping you. This is about you doing it.
Right.
Okay. So I said, wow, on my little cell phone here, this thing called podcast, I don't think you have to be an MIT grad to do it. But
no, you do not.
Clearly not. Actually, these guys all, they drew Sparky on a matchbook cover. That's about as far as I got. But I knew, based on the personal appearances I was doing, just as we were talking about earlier, is that there are millions of people who like the work just that I did. If I throw in Mark Hamill, who, everybody knows him as Luke, but he was the Joker. Right?
Yeah.
So, but you throw all that into the mix, and on my phone is everybody. Dan Castellaneta, who's Homer, Nancy Cartwright is Bart, Mark.
Yeah, we'd love to borrow that phone.
Yeah, no problem.
But all
these, Maurice LaMarche, Billy West, John DiMaggio, Tress MacNeille, they're all my friends. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just do a podcast. Well, lo and behold, it was people dug it, So it was done. Necessity totally is the mother of invention. There was a little bit of desperation. I got over my desperation and said, look, you're going to continue to work. You're having a slow period. So you've talked about wanting to do all these live gigs and wanting to do other things to further your visibility. Guess what, dude? However you can, this is the universe telling you. However you want to couch it, however metaphysical or not, you asked for it. It may not come exactly in the way that you expected, but just like love, it comes from unexpected places. And so you go, hey, guess what? This is your opportunity. Don't fuck it up. Yeah. And I luckily had, the presence of mind to start doing it. And again, because it was a passionate labor of love and I had skin in the game, it starts to work. Yeah. And so then I meet people like you, and one thing leads to another.
Sorry about that.
And then you're in my bedroom.
In your own bedroom. No, so I'm very passionate about it. And the thing is that I'm doing this really great project with David Copperfield in Vegas. And we're the same age.
David Copperfield.
I want to be able to say that one day. I'm doing this awesome project.
Here's a great
with David
example of what we're
Vegas,
talking about. This is great, though. And this is really important, I think, especially for young folks who are really, you guys are working hard, you're doing your own gig, and people are watching. We're the same age, David Copperfield, right? That guy hasn't needed a dime for 30 years.
He used to own his own island, right?
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Super
and I was just there Wednesday.
At his island?
No, not Vegas. In Vegas. But he's got this animatronic alien in his show. It's a really cool illusion. It's a 20-minute illusion, and I'm the voice of this alien. So I go and we re-record and tweak it. So I was there a couple days ago. Anyway, this is a great example of what I'm talking about passion and drive. He's David frickin' Copperfield.
Yeah.
He's got all the money he'll ever need, but it's not that. He does 15 shows a week at the MGM. 15, right? 3 shows on Saturday, 2 Monday through Friday and Sunday. Okay. And he's 58, same age as me, but he is driven to say, hey, Rob, how can you help me with this next illusion? This is going to be unbelievable. I really want to figure out. You're an expert at what you do. I need you to help me. And he has the same drive and passion as we're pushing 60 that he did when he was 15 and, getting beat up in the hallways for going, hey, what's this? When you pull out a quarter. And he's an amazing talent, right? He's arguably the best illusionist who's ever lived, but he's still driven by his passion. And it's not about the money.
Yeah, see, that's for me the thing that excites me, right? When you ask, what's in the next 5 years? I don't know, but I know we'll still be working. And I'm a huge lover of film, and I love watching people's careers or reading about people's careers. And there's a great cinematographer who just passed away named Gordon Willis.
Oh yeah.
He passed away
Did a lot of Woody Allen stuff.
Did a lot of Woody Allen stuff. Did all the Godfather stuff. Worked pretty much until the day he died, and that's not uncommon for a lot of people in the film industry, or especially cinematographers, because you just have that weird motivation that keeps you going until the day you die. And that's who I want to be. I don't want to be a person
I'm with
who
you,
necessarily
buddy.
retires.
I want to die and leave this rock exhausted from laughing and
Yeah.
having a great time. And matter of fact, my wife's best friend's father was Conrad Hall.
Oh, no shit.
And Connie won Oscars for Butch Cassidy and
I was
Sundance
going to say
Kid.
everything.
I think he won one for Day of the Locust. The last one he won was for American Beauty, and that's a great example. Conrad was in his 80s when he finally passed away, but he was the last show he did, I think, was Road to Perdition, and every frame of that movie looks like a painting.
That's stunning. I mean, I feel like that's what it is too. When you choose a creative field to go into, and you sort of always think, okay, like we do this show. I love this show. I think it looks great. It can always be better. You always have that sort of like, we just need, like, even this morning I was like going back and forth on the website. I'm like, it could always be better. Is it right? Is it not? No, it's always going to be an evolution, and you get addicted to that evolution.
Yeah. Totally.
And it becomes
It's a Jones.
It is a Jones, and it's never quite good enough. And I think the trick for us is okay, can we appreciate what we have right now, but always want more?
Right. Well, there's a great line in a Don Henley song that you take what you want what you have, and you take what you're given with grace. And that's a great way to live, because if you can literally say, and I do that every now and then, I'll be looking around, I'll be with my wife and my dogs or my little crib or whatever, and I'm looking around going, wow, everything I have is paid for with money that I earned doing something I do for free.
Yeah. Don't say that too loud.
I mean, I'm a capitalist. Don't get me wrong. I'm a free market capitalist. But I'm how you need to take those moments to say, wow, I just bought dental floss, paid for with money that I earned doing something that I love to
I think
do.
we all just had that moment.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, we're all literally just doing the things that we love to do because people
that is such a
support
gift.
that. But
it's really weird. Like, there's a difference. I don't know. It sounds like, I don't know if you ever had to work a quote unquote real job or a steady gig.
Yeah, I did. I haven't had a steady gig. Maybe for a few months I sold cars somewhere in the mid 80s. Okay. But apart from that, I started making my living as a singer in rock and roll bands when I was 19. I'm going to be 59 in March. So this is my 40th year doing pretty much nothing.
Being your own guy, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it is
pretty much nothing.
Just doing squat.
Right.
I actually forgot what my point was with that.
Did you ever have a straight job?
Oh yeah. So
Define straight. Sorry.
There you go. So, you feel differently when you own your own business, or you are your own person. You're bringing in that money straightforward without that buffer of a company, right? Where a company, the money almost doesn't seem real because you get it on a steady, track. You know what you're going to get every month.
Right? Yeah.
There it is. Some mythical person in New York who is an accounting person makes sure that payroll gets done, and it just comes into your bank and you're good to go. And that it almost doesn't feel like you're earning it. You do feel like you're doing work.
Right.
But it's different when you, quote unquote, have the skin in the game, where you're like, this is a risk, and then every dollar suddenly matters. I took a $20 referee costume back to Big Five. It is 7 miles away. It took me forever to get over there, but I was like, this is our money.
Yeah.
This is important. And like, I'm not going to let it just hang. We had two, as you can see.
That's another one. That's the one we use. That's the
one that goes with the yellow Dyson.
Yeah. Exactly. But that was important to me. And I was on the phone with my wife at the time, and because I drive a lot and we do this a lot, and I call her all the time. And that's how we stay connected. Because most of the time when I get home, it's at
smoke signals are so difficult in the wind.
It's really hard. And I was like, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, I got 30 minutes to kill before my buddy's birthday party. We're gonna go out there. I'm like, I'm thinking about taking this referee costume back to Big Five. I know it sounds silly. It's only worth $28. She's like, it's $28.
Hey, totally, man.
She's like, let's put that in terms. If you want to get to me, you have to put it in terms of Starbucks.
Yeah.
She's like, that's 5 trips to Starbucks for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you're right. Let's go.
Oh no, listen.
Take it back.
Hey man, I'm a big sports car nut, and I've spent a lot of money on cars, and that's what I really love it. I mean, I love hockey, golf.
What are you driving right now?
Right now, I have probably the best all-around car I've ever had. I have a BMW M6 Coupe, which is a sweet ride. First year I put 25,000 miles on it. I drive the shit out of it. But
that makes the traffic in LA a little bit more palatable.
It's fantastic. I've had some wonderful automobiles, but I don't have a zillion dollars where I have 12 cars or 30 cars.
Yeah.
I get to have one kick-ass car at a time, and it's a dream fulfilled. But I'm telling you, the enjoyment, and it's so exciting to be here with you guys because you have got such great things coming your way, and when you can look back and go, wow, I entertained people, I made them laugh, I made them think, and I bought my cars and my Starbucks and paid for my kids' college with money earned doing something about which I was desperately passionate. And I did it. We did it. And, little soapboxy, this country alone allows you still opportunities that, yeah, there are a lot of free countries around, Western Europe, but in terms of just still, you can still be a pretty cool, rugged individualist here. You may not want to, you can live in a state like California, which has really, really onerous tax laws, or you can go to a place like, Nevada or Texas or whatever and take advantage of those tax laws. But the point is that you can still do what you want to do, and you are not an indentured servant of the government. You're a slave to your passion. That's great. That's so cool to be a slave to your passion, man. Yep. I love that you're doing this. And that's you guys, the guys that are gonna be the Bill Gateses and the Steve Jobses, and even on the smaller scale, the Rob Paulsons, the guys who said, yeah, I came from Flint, Michigan. I don't know anybody. I don't know. That's why people talk about, the rich people and Brad Pitt didn't know anybody either. Yeah. God bless Brad Pitt. Yeah. He's making $20 million a movie. I wish it was me.
Mizzou
and you know what?
Alum, kind of. He's credits short, but nobody.
He's also in Smash Bros.
I didn't know anybody when I got here. And this business and this state and this country has afforded me the opportunity to come out, try my skills, play in the big pond. Yeah. And I'm making a living. I'm not a movie rock star guy, but I'm doing just fine.
You got an M6, you're doing okay.
I'm doing great. But the thing is that even at my age, or David Copperfield's, right? We're two sides of a completely different financial coin. He's David Copperfield, deep. And I'm Rob Paulson, but I can still swing for the David Copperfield fence and continue to do my gig. And it's so wonderful. And I could talk about it forever, but it's
we
really
could
enjoyed it.
You
guys
are, and one day we're going to take you up on that offer. We're going to come down and watch you. Actually,
oh, please do. Yeah, if you could get you down, I think you guys would really dig a recording session. It'd be a lot of fun. Cool.
Yeah, but I think that's the same thing. Like to answer that woman in the car months later is with people, all the best friends who support us, and as long as there's people who want to consume our content, we'll keep doing that, and that'll keep evolving, right?
Yeah, I mean, to tell a quick story. So Gavin Free, this guy over at Rooster Teeth, I'm sure
what
a
up,
lot
Gavin?
of guys are familiar with this. To me, his story is crazy because he was a huge fan of Rooster Teeth and the show that they did, but he was from Europe, so he couldn't get over here. But so he started his own thing to get over here, and he partnered up with this guy that he knew that knew how to use slow-mo cameras.
Right.
So he started his own YouTube channel, just slow-mo guys, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And it's just it turned into this huge thing, and now he's over here. And I remember talking to him.
He figured it out.
Yeah, and he figured it out. He made it work when it wasn't going to work.
Isn't that
because
fantastic?
He had to.
Yeah.
And now I'll never forget when we first met him. He was talking to us. He's like, now the iPhones have slow-mo. In a couple years, what I do is not going to be unique, and it's not going to be a thing. And he's like, and now my new thing is being stupid on the internet and talking and being funny. Well, guess what? More people are going to be able to do that, and you need to keep adapting.
Hey, Glozell just nailed the President of the United States for an interview.
What?
Right?
That's insane.
God bless her. And people, and either side of it really corrupts the office of the president. Hey, man, I don't know that if I were the presidential advisor, I'd say, you better talk to these people because they're reaching a lot of your fan base, a lot of your constituency, right? Mm-hmm. And God bless Glozell. Yeah, she makes her living eating cereal in the tub, which I think is a little, unhealthy, but nonetheless... She figured it out, and she did it.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's so crazy to me.
That's so cool.
That resonates. Gavin, he's a good dude, good friend of mine, and he's my age for all intents and purposes. I think he's a little older, but it's crazy to me, and it inspired me too because I feel I'm a hungry dude. I trying to push and stuff, but even that made me realize I can never stop and be I get this YouTube thing because a lot of people make jokes Tim gets YouTube and stuff, and that's kind of my thing. But I'm I can't stop there.
Don't rest on your laurels.
I need
to keep adapting.
Exactly
keep adapting and keep listening to the people younger than me because they're gonna know what's up more than I do.
That's right, and that's the thing that folks like you have really helped me learn. Chris Hardwick has been a big help. You honestly have been great. You've been when you had me on the Up at Noon. I learned that sort of the power of that. Yeah. Overnight, I had 45,000 people who watched me have a great time on your show, and I've had so many people. You Doug Walker, he does a thing called Nostalgia Critic, and and I've done a couple of those things, and I go so now between my podcast Up at Noon, a couple of these other YouTube things that I've done, people come up in Australia and say, "Mate, I saw you on Up at Noon. You were fucking great, bloody great. You do that with GameOverGreggy." And so it's like, wow, and it's inspiring to me. And I'm learning, Hardwick, like I said, Jesus, Hardwick has taken it to the nth degree.
Oh my God, yeah.
And he had me and Maurice on his podcast, and my podcast, the 2 days after we aired on his show, my podcast went to #1 on iTunes TV and film because of Chris saying, hey, you should check this out. And so now I have, 50,000 downloads a month, and I used to do it once a week. Now I do it once a month because I'm traveling so much.
Sure.
But boy, have I learned a lot. And it's this brave new world. And so when people say to me, I live in Watertown, New York, but can I do what I do and not come to LA? I don't want to see. First of all, stop whining. Please don't do that. You have with so many opportunities and platforms now that are available to you for free.
Yeah.
And this has got an HD camera, and it's $200, and you can find a Starbucks in I could be in Malaysia, and in 30 seconds I know where a Starbucks is. I mean, so you have all this opportunity, and there are people like you're talking about. Well, it's really hard to live in Watertown, New York, and well, your friend lives in Europe or something?
Yeah, he was over in
UK. Okay, yeah. He figured it out, and now he's here.
Yeah.
That's exactly, forgive me, again, exactly what this country was built on. My grandparents all came through Ellis Island. I'm a second-generation American. My parents were born here, but my grandparents weren't. And they came, not knowing, not only not how to speak the language, but not even knowing, well, I get tuberculosis on the boat going over, but you know what?
Jesus.
Screw it. I got to go.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
And because they came, I remember my mother getting tearful, going, oh my God, I just watched you get an Emmy on TV for something you did. Can you imagine if your grandparents were able to see what happened as a result of their courage? So here's your friend says, God, I don't have a green card. All right. Well, I can complain about it and go work it wherever, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to figure it out. So figure it out. Or don't, and live your life, but don't complain.
Yeah. And, our lives have been crazy lately, and I feel that's fairly safe to say for all of us. But IGN gave us so much. We did so much for them, and I feel like a lot of people are like, well, of course you can do this stuff because you did IGN. And I'm not trying to talk shit to anybody or whatever. I just want everyone to stop and think for a second. We weren't at IGN at some point.
Yeah.
And we got to IGN.
Right. Yep.
And that's crazy. And recently, you guys might have seen, I got to host the Daily Fix on IGN. And that was a huge moment for me. And it really made me stop and think about, my journey and getting to IGN. And it's it's crazy to me because now I'm like, oh, I'm me. I'm, this is who I am. And I've always been this person. But it's like, I have always been this person. And I've always had this drive. But 5 years ago, I wasn't.
Right, but it's about, people talk about, well, you're so lucky. And I used to say that, and I am. I'm blessed, lucky, whatever.
Exactly.
But I really prefer to think now as I get older that I'm fortunate. Because I'm really fortunate that I had great parents, I had great siblings, all of that stuff. But, when people say to me, you guys are really lucky. Well, okay, but if we're going to really get into the discussion about it, let's really sort of break down what luck is. It really is when preparedness meets opportunity. And you have these epiphanal moments in your life that will come along, and either you're ready to knock it out of the park or you're not.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that even though you knock it out of the park, you're going to continue to forever, because it isn't fair, whatever that means. But all you can ask for, as far as I'm concerned, is the opportunity. And bust your ass to be ready. And I'm like you. I didn't know anybody. I came from Flint, right? But it was like, well, I'm not going to do it here. And I got to go do my thing and figure it out. Got to try and keep. And then at least if you decide and my brother's a great example of that. My brother is now in the financial industry in New York, and he was an actor for years, and he'd had enough. He said, you know what? I was there, and I did that. I'm ready to just sort of do what I went back to school, get to NYU, blah, blah, blah. Now he's making a lot of money in the financial district, and he's doing great. But he did it. He was like, I feel good about that. He wasn't one of those guys who at 50 goes, I hate my life because I never tried to do what I really want to do. And not everybody's going to get that chance, and we know that. I understand that. Please don't get me wrong. I don't mean to say that everybody's going to get the same opportunity. I know it's not. We don't have the same talent. We don't have the same gifts. I totally get that. But as far as I'm concerned, there are 3 levels of passion. If you're lucky, you find something about which you're passionate, right? This. If you're luckier, you find that you are good at that which you are passionate about. That's pretty cool. Even if it's bowling or flower arranging or working on cars, I can't wait to get off work because I'm going to get to work on my car. I'm so passionate about that. And I'm good at it. I rebuilt this car. But then if you find something about which you're passionate, you're good at it, and you make money at it, you've won the lottery of life, my friend. And I don't care how much the money is. I'm not talking about Oprah money. I'm talking about, wow, I'm paying my bills. I live in a nice apartment in the city. I'm feeding my dog and I'm doing my thing. And I own my own flower shop. I could be, what a great life. That's what passion does.
Yep.
You know? And I'm grateful that you allowed me to express it.
No, thank you for being a part of it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I think it's been, something Tim said is interesting to me in the sense that we all got into IGN some way and got into this industry somehow. And, the one thing I always encourage people to do is that when I just turned 18, I'm 30 now, when I just turned 18 and someone opened a door for me just a little bit, I fucking busted that door down.
Right.
Like that door was never getting closed again.
Right.
And I busted it to the point where I was an intern at IGN, and then when I graduated at Northeastern, they offered me a job. I didn't even apply for it.
Yeah.
And so it was a matter like that 5 years difference of just working.
Yeah.
And getting it done got me to that point. So it was hard work, but also I always say this, take the opportunities that are given to you. I was not and am not the best writer. I think I'm good, but I'm not the best writer in the world. And I'm certainly, not the most talented individual on camera or whatever, but like you use what you have to try to get where you are. And what I love about this particularly, what we're doing is, I'll be very candid, and I've said this before, like my happiness at IGN was waning significantly, and I didn't want to do that anymore, and like, but a lot of people think that we're crazy for jumping out of there, but I think we were crazy not to jump out of there because, we now have the people out there, a much smaller group. I've said it many times. Greg's probably tired of hearing it specifically, is that we exchanged reach for intimacy.
Yeah.
We exchanged reach for intimacy. That was the idea. We are not going to reach the millions and millions and millions and tens of millions of people that IGN reached anymore, but we don't want to do that. We want to have an intimate relationship with a smaller group of people that support what we do and want to be there every day of the week. And it doesn't mean that we won't grow and we won't expand. It's to say like these 4,000 or 5,000 people that are supporting us on Patreon right now, those are our people, and we want to make them happy. And that makes me happy. I'll tell you, the last month I've been much happier than I've been in years.
Isn't that great?
Because I really came to the conclusion, the hard conclusion, like that I had a dream job that everyone wanted. I was a senior editor at the biggest gaming website in the world. There's one senior editor at that website.
It's a big deal, man.
And like, but I had to come to the conclusion, like, I don't really want to do this anymore.
Right.
It's not your dream anymore.
What did you say?
It's not your dream anymore.
Exactly, and it's someone else's dream. So let's get someone else in there. And I'm gonna be with my boys that we built this thing on our own and we own it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it with our people out there.
Right.
And we're gonna rise or fall based on how they feel about what we're doing, which is why they're so important to me.
Yeah.
And these past 3-4 weeks, fucking forget about it,
Yeah.
dude. Like I feel like a weight has been lifted off
Isn't
my
that
shoulders.
great?
It's
Good for
really
you,
insane.
man.
Yeah.
Well, that's
We're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and that's why I started doing these live things. I didn't want to be beholden to people just calling me or saying we got 2 lines of a talking chicken. Would you read for this? And it's like, well, it's not that I want to do the gig, but because I'm not a famous guy. There's not a point so far where I can just say, I won't work. I'll work when you give it to me. That's not going to happen unless I become, do on-camera stuff. And that and I may do more on-camera stuff. So I love doing my own gig because I love meeting all of the people out there and they're telling me the stories. And these people have buttered my bread for 30 freaking years. And I totally get that. And I want to go out and meet them. So now that I own these shows that I'm doing, I mean, I don't own the music because it's owned by Warner Brothers, but we got permission from Mr. Spielberg and Warner Brothers, and we are doing our thing and having a good time and doing these personal appearances and anything I can do to further that. It's something that I have control over. I'm not waiting for the phone to ring and having somebody say, they're not sure if they want to use you. If you read for this, maybe. Okay, great, I get that. If you want to use me, fine. If you don't, fine. I got my juice over here now.
Right,
I got all my skin in this game now. And I want to do it until I literally can't do it anymore.
Right.
So you're preaching to the choir, kids.
Yeah, I think it's just an interesting point because what you're really talking about in my mind is almost a lack of risk aversion, which is like, I'm out of the 4 of us the most risk averse, I think. And it took me a while to convince, and Tim too, in a sense, like took us a while to kind of come around to the sense that we were going to do this, we were going to jump. When I realized what you're saying is really resonating with me, just in the sense that, I didn't want to stay somewhere because people thought I was crazy for leaving.
Right.
Yeah,
and
right.
That was like really like the last
That's
year.
That's giving
or so.
them your power.
Exactly. Like the last year or so, it was like that was how I felt in my heart.
Right.
I was like, I can't. Like people are gonna think I'm nuts. Like I got here and I've climbed here and I'm established. I could stay here forever.
Right.
Like the 4 of us, we could stay there forever.
Yeah.
Right.
But we just.
Well, then you coined the phrase which you've used here, which is "fuck that." You know,
We should put that on a shirt.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's not. I read a great article. I
Yahoo
wish I could
Answers.
remember his name. It's a great article about, you know, the fine art of not giving a fuck. And it's like his whole premise is we have only so many fucks to give.
Oh yeah, I'm
Right?
familiar.
Right? And you kind of go, I don't give. It doesn't mean I don't want you to do your best, and I don't want the best for you. But I hear what you're saying. Thank you for caring about me, but I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And I hope you understand and accept that in the spirit in which I'm delivering that comment. It's not, you know, a hateful comment. It's like, this is my life. Sorry, excuse me, but I don't give a fuck. And now, and like you said it beautifully. You feel this weight off your shoulder, and it's a good feeling.
It is.
And you
it
can't
is.
put a dollar figure on that.
You can. I mean, that's what I keep. That's why I'm trying to explain to people is that we could have stayed there and had some financial security and been going about our business and stuff. We owe everything to IGN. We owe a great deal to them, and we wish them the greatest success.
Totally, of course.
And we wanted to leave them in the best possible way, which is why we gave them 3 months' notice instead of 2 weeks' notice. You know, to make sure that they were in good shape, and they're in good shape. They're going to continue and succeed without us. They don't need us. You know, like so that's fine. That's that's its own weight lifted off my shoulders. But just the sense of, you know, whether Kind of Funny succeeds or fails, like, I have no regrets.
Yeah.
And like, I already feel that way, and it's just like I
you.
stand a little taller, like I feel a little better, I'm sleeping better. Like, it's so weird how like that one decision that seemed so antithetical at the time, like, was the decision that had to be made.
That's going to be one of those epiphanal moments that you look back in your life and go, holy shit, am I ever glad that we did that when we did it? And sometimes you're in the middle of it and you don't know, but then you look back and go, oh my God, if I went left when I had the opportunity to go right, whew, and that's not meant as a political metaphor. But you know, if oh my God, I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah.
And you will have those as you get older. You'll go, wow, this was a really good move.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
We already know it is because of you, best friends. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, you can support us over at patreon.com/kindoffunny. If you don't have any money to give us, it's no big deal. You can go to youtube.com/kindoffunny. Get each topic broken out day by day until we post the whole thing for free on Friday on iTunes as well. Rob Paulson,
Hey, man.
thank you so much for coming
My
through.
pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, laughter is the best medicine, and the cool thing is you can't OD and the refills are free. So there you go.
Talking Tunes. Go subscribe right now, whatever podcast service you use. Watch for robpaulsonlive.com. Go there, find out when Animaniacs is coming somewhere.
Actually, Animaniacs.
Animaniacs.
That's a really different one.
Animaniacs.
Wow. Yeah,
That's a
thank you.
different show, but
Yeah.
you hit the high notes easier. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Thanks, guys.
Before we end, I do need to say thank you. I know, but I'm unending this. Thank you so much for everything, because honestly, like I said earlier, you were the voice
pleasure.
of my childhood, of our childhood, multiple childhoods, and childhood
Thanks, buddy.
now for this new generation. And in addition to that, just the pop culture relevance of everything, and a lot of what we do. This show, the Game Over Greggy Show,
Right.
the amount of times we've talked about G.I. Joe or Transformers or Land Before Time.
Oh, I'm Spike.
Which
I was Spike.
You were Spike?
Yeah. And all the
I was going for Chomper.
And I think no, I wasn't Chomper. I was Spike in all the Land Before Time video movies.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
that's amazing. But we've talked about these things, and all of those movies and shows
thanks,
and all
buddy.
this, like that, the memories we have from those shows
Thank you.
are what drives us to do what we do.
Well,
So
and
thank
that you could have given me no greater compliment, which is precisely why I say I really want people, please follow your passion, whatever it is, because one day you will have this experience, and it will be so profound in your life that you know that you fixed somebody's car that they thought they could never afford, but you freaking fixed it, or you made an impact in somebody's life, whether it's on a macro or a micro scale. You need to have that experience. So follow your passion and share it with people.
I think the most exciting thing is that your passion then fueled our passion.
Great.
And I'm hoping our passion fuels other
It will.
people's passion.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. And thank you, man. You guys have just been absolutely delightful. Appreciate it.
We love you, Rob.
Thank you. Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
so
Thank
much
you.
fun.
Common
Sounds like
distance
sex
away.
talk. This is how you,
how you
want
want
it.
it?
You want it up,
Up
here,
here,
or down
down
there.
low.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sex talk with Greg Miller.
Coming soon to Kind of Funny Vids.